We live on our 60-foot narrowboat on the UK inland waterways. Can't believe it's coming up to 7 years. So what I'm going to do in this vlog, as we cruise to Skipton, I am going to share the highlights of 2025. It's been a year all about Yorkshire. We've been in Yorkshire for the whole of the year and it's just been wonderful. But there have been their challenges. While we've had some challenges on the waterways this year, they have been nothing like those encountered by some boaters on our network. And my heart goes out to all of those involved in the most recent major incident on the Llangollen canal. This breach shows just how precarious life can be afloat, and if you want to learn more about this event, I've listed all of the channels in the description of this vlog that have covered it. We're ending 2025 on a trip to Skipton, leaving the little gem of Kildwick behind to travel 4 miles on our final leg of a journey that began in Llangollen on the Calder and Hebble Canal 383 miles ago. First swing bridge of the day. Let's hope this one isn't a challenge. Boat life throws all sorts of challenges at you, especially if you continuously cruise the network all year round. But this year, these are our top 3 most challenging moments, starting in Brickhouse. We were stuck in Brickhouse for 2 weeks while we waited for the River Calder's flood levels to drop. Okay, here we go. It's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride, but here we go. In that time, the canal froze and we had to fill up our water tank via our aqua rollers and an uphill, downhill, icy cobbled path obstacle course. It's the best idea. And 2 feet bend. Yes. It was definitely an opportunity to work off the mince pies. And I got to know the local bird life really well. I'm calling in freckles because I had freckles, masses of freckles when I was growing up. I also had time to make Yorkshire parking, which replaced the worked off mince pies.
Obviously when it goes through the gates, get some speed up, so as you get the tide, it helps you sort of turn into it.
This is a challenge that we wanted to take on. We'd spent weeks preparing and had the expertise of riverman John Dean on board too. Right, say some prayers, John. It presented us with 3 tricky elements. Number 1, turning around the apex where the River Trent meets the River Ouse on its journey to the Humber and the North Sea.
As we've got the tide pushing us this way, but obviously when you go around the corner you've got the water coming that way, so obviously when you come around the corner expect to get pushed sideways.
And then turn and go and gun it.
Yeah.
I'm very scared.
Yeah, nothing to worry about.
John took all the anxiety out of making the turn around the apex, and the whole thing was really exhilarating. Woo! We did it! Number 2, waiting for the tide to turn. And there is no way we would have known about a single bolt at the very end, waiting for a small vessel to cling to without John on board. And finally, how to get into the lock at Barnby Barrage on flood tides.
Alice Grace, this is Barnby Barrage, receiving over.
We've just made passage through the M62 bridge and we are heading to Barnby Barrage. Over.
Roger that, the lock gates are open and the lights are green. Over.
Thank you very much. Narrowboat Alex Grace out. But this river was far greater than I was. And I was a million miles away from ever being a river woman. And I was also a million miles away from the lock entrance. I didn't want to leave today. I wanted to stay on this canal for a bit longer, but I spoke to the lock keeper who's responsible for the cotting with lock, which is the one that lets you on and off this canal. And he said his advice was to get off the canal as soon as possible. They're not letting any more boats in. It's very shallow. There's no likelihood of the water level rising because there isn't any rain forecast, and it's dropping daily. It's the lowest he's ever seen. Even the River Derwent, which connects us to the River Ouse, is the lowest they've ever seen it. The journey to the beginning of the Pocklington Canal should have been an easy one. Stopped for about half an hour. But going down the small locks on the Pocklington Canal and a 60-foot narrowboat was causing us all sorts of problems, and we kept getting stuck behind the lock gates. Eventually we'd made it out of the locks, but then we were faced with another problem. Move it to the side. 10:15 at night. We were stuck for an hour and a half. We're still not out of the woods yet because it's still very, very slow going. But that was the toughest bit of boating I think we have ever done. And our journey continued into the night. But even though we were utterly exhausted, we were rewarded with the most beautiful end to a cruise that we have ever experienced. A basket full of dappled light entwined with curlew calls, where lilies knit their flames at night by sun-sunk lava walls, all braid themselves, all twisted, to criss-cross every breath of the time that I existed on those waters that I've left. But one strand won't be interlaced, just left to hold the air, until I'm back and face to face to finish what's left there. Are you nature spotting, Zeph? I've just stopped by the second swing bridge of the day because I found a nice hole in a tree, and I always look for holes in trees to see if there's an owl in there. But sadly, so far, there never is for me. However, I have seen an owl this year, and it was one of the most exciting things. Even though I didn't get a great view of it, I felt really emotional because I've wanted to see a little owl, and it was a little owl, forever, basically, for as long as I've loved owls, which is a very long time. But was it my favourite nature moment of 2025? Let's do that one. Let's have a look. What was my favourite nature moment of 2025 narrowboating this year? Looking for the owl. The little owl. I've seen the kestrel here. I've seen a kestrel. If I don't find a little owl, I won't be disappointed, because I'll know that one day I'll see a little owl, I'm sure. And then it will be so worth it, because I'll remember this day. Do you remember every day I was going to Oddball, trying to find a little owl? A little owl hid from me, and people said, oh, little owl was here an hour ago. And I was really happy for them. Little owl, honestly. One day. But then, in between the railings and behind numerous twigs and branches, something caught my eye. Is that it? Hang on, so much, so far away. It moved. Is it? Is it? It's little owl. Oh my God, it's little owl. It's there. It's looking at me. Can you see little owl? It's there. It didn't matter to me that it wasn't a clear view. The fact that it was taking in the same surroundings as me and we shared the same space was reward enough. Oh, I'm so excited. I think we've got cattle egrets. I've never seen cattle egrets before. Amazing. Seeing the incredible cattle egrets just outside Leeds, and knowing that there are just a handful of places that you can see them in the UK was so exciting, and definitely a highlight of my year's travelling. Waiting for the rain to stop. I know. It's nice to have some rain though, isn't it, Zeph? This is York in July, when Zeph and I went in search of the elusive tansy beetle. The tansy beetle, named after its favourite food, has its last remaining population along the River Ouse in York, although it can sometimes be spotted in small numbers in parts of East Anglia. So whilst we were moored in York, Zeph and I spent most of our walks scanning the tansy flower for the tansy beetle. Well, I did anyway, I'm not sure Zeph did. Oh my God, I found one, bingo, oh my gosh. This is my favourite nature spot of 2025 because I'd managed to see an endangered species, which is at risk from global extinction. I see another one as well. Oh God, hang on. Can you see that? The fact that I could see them is a huge reflection of the incredible work of wildlife conservationists. I found three tansy beetles now. And it was an encounter that just filled me full of hope. My longboat steers where Vikings' oar once sliced these waters of before. Now willows silence battles roar, and palaces peer down. Yet there below the minster's tower are battles on the tansy flower, unseen, unheard, unless you scour the beetle once widespread. A memorial of 7 Polish RAF aircrew is here, as it marks the spot that the aircraft they were in during a routine training flight developed a major wing spar failure, sending them crashing down into what was then known as Winifred's Cafe. This memorial enables visitors to learn more about the 7 brave men, and it was unveiled in 2007 by wife of Flight Lieutenant Joseph Wolnick, one of the airmen who had died after only being married for 3 weeks before the tragic accident happened. So a lot of the history that we come across on a daily basis on the canal is the canal itself, and why it was built and all the things that happened on the canal over the years. But also there's historical events that happened near the canal, in the surrounding area, and a lot of these, become apparent to you when you're travelling on the canal. So with that in mind, what has been my best historical discovery, or my favourite historical discovery this year on Narrowboat Alice Grace? When I was at school, I'm embarrassed to say that I always found history quite a bland lesson. But now that I live on a piece of the industrial past, and I experience stories from before firsthand, it's become a passion of mine.
These are unquestionably times of great moments in Yorkshire.
Bronte sisters' journey, and we're going to use the steam train to find out more. Stepping back by steam to the life of the Bronte sisters gave me goosebumps and a real insight into the minds behind these three incredible women.
But must there be men's names?
When a man writes something, it's what he's written that's judged. When a woman writes something, it's her that's judged.
But just topping that moment slightly this year was our visit to Saltaire. Mooring in a place built by a man to improve the lives of others and being guided there by a cormorant made the whole experience of this spectacularly preserved town's history even more memorable. It's here that Cormorant takes the air, across the sea rocks of the fair, this saintly soul that once was there, now guards the sky of its Saltaire. Wow, doesn't that look beautiful in the distance with the sun on the hilltop? So many wonderful memories this year. What's been the most heartwarming though? One heartwarming story that jumps to mind was when I stood reading some words etched into the wood above the fireplace at Bellingborough Hall. These words moved me because they were enabling a love story to live on that had been cut so short by the war. The love story of English Dorothy Preston and Canadian airman Harry Olsen. And also in the gardens of the hall that day, I found a beautiful Canadian maple and English rose in full bloom. But the most heartwarming moment of the year for me was when I lived in a dry dock for a week.
Fine. I have somewhere to live now. I come down the boatyard every day, keep me busy, keeps me occupied. I enjoy it, I love it, I love being by the water.
Because in the dry dock I found a group of human beings that were not only repairing boats, but climbing mountains, overcoming obstacles from the past, and doing it all with a smile on their face. And that's why the boatyard Castleford is my most heartwarming moment of 2025. Thank you very much, thank you! Whatever time we spend engraving patterns on our shell, double it when taking time to fill the hollows with a loving heart that serves the earth life well, to make our masterpiece upon the wheel. Interesting, we go past the boatyard, and the boatyard was my most heartwarming moment this year. I just didn't expect that to happen. I was dreading being in a dry dock for a week, living on Narrowboat Alice Grace inside a dry dock, and it turned out to be one of the highlights of the year. It's funny, isn't it? And Alice is performing really well since going in there. Thank you. Looks cosy in there. Oh, this is looking really exciting now. Ever since I've come onto the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, everyone says, oh, wait till you get to Skipton. Oh, Skipton, wait till you get to Skipton. God, Skipton's gorgeous, wait till you get to Skipton. And today is the day that we're getting to Skipton. We're in just the outskirts now. So I'm hoping to find a beautiful mooring spot here. But will it be my best mooring spot of the year? There's still time. We've had the pleasure of calling home for a week. So many beautiful places this year. But our absolute standout favourite mooring spot so far this year came as a bit of a surprise, really. I would rather wait here than be stuck further down. We've got the tender, so we can stay here just like this until the rain comes to get more water. So for a week, while we waited for the rain to come, we lived stuck in the shallows with Nureyev the slug and Baz the biscuit for company, and it was absolutely wonderful. So I can stop, so I can see, so stillness holds each rain and slows me on this journey like a slug upon the pane. I can't quite believe it. Here we are, finally arriving in the gorgeous town of Skipton, which has been voted the happiest place to live in the UK this year. However, that makes it extremely popular, and with boaters too. So will we find a space to moor Alice Grace? Oh, there's a poem in there. Now this isn't going to work. So temporarily the boat is here, but we're going to have to move it because we're sticking out. Right. Is this going to be 60 foot? Before you get to the bollards? There's rings, let's try. So nervously, with the wind huffing and puffing at my shoulders and boaty obstacles everywhere, I try to manoeuvre our 60-foot home into a spot that I think looks big enough. And so we've made it to Skipton for the end of 2025, a year that started for us with a flood. Oh no, we're in flood, we're in flood. Here's the situation. You can't see how deep the water is. You can't see anything, but the canal has gone over the towpath and we've risen above where the edge of the towpath is, and next to us alongside you can see that the River Calder is about to burst its banks. We've already loosened our ropes and I've got the pole in a position where I can keep us wedged away from coming up onto the towpath. But the main concern now is that the River Calder is going to burst its banks into the canal. But from that moment onwards, the year gifted us along the way with the wonders of Yorkshire, its scenery, wildlife, and beautiful people. However, it's too early to say if this is our favourite mooring spot of 2025. So I'll have to test it out in 2026. So I hope you enjoyed the roundup of 2025. It's been an amazing year. Really, it's been a year all about Yorkshire, and I have completely and utterly fallen head over heels in love with this county. It's just beautiful. I'm going to be sad to leave it, but this is part of Narrowboat life. It's part of the journey. We are on a continuous journey. We want to cover the whole of the system, so we are really looking forward to the next adventures. I wish you all a wonderful, happy and healthy new year. I really do, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for all your support with this channel. It just means the world to me, it really does. So thank you so much. And just going to let you know that as we go into the next set of vlogs and we continue our journey, I might look a bit different for a while. And that's because I'm having some treatment for basal cell carcinoma. I've got a few basal cell carcinomas that I'm having to deal with. One of them actually is on my face, so I'm trying this treatment of cream, so hopefully avoid surgery. So I'm hoping that the cream will work. However, a symptom of the cream is that the face is going to look a little bit aggressive and maybe angry for a while. Can I just say, I don't mean I'm personally going to look angry and aggressive. What I meant to say is my skin might look angry and aggressive. So, without further ado, Seth, well, we're just so blessed and lucky to have our wonderful viewers, aren't we? Do you want to say a few words? You're thinking about it? It's been a big year for Zephyr. She turned 8 this year, and then after that she gave us all a bit of a health scare, but I'm glad to say that she's completely back to normal. And I know that if she could bark out the words, she would thank you all for the love and support that she receives every week. Do you like the new soft furnishings? then years will not alter the spirit in you. For a spirit that's fit makes you feel like you're new. But of course, all these things you continue to do, for it's you that has taught this to me.